Today's look at some of the top NFL trade candidates is made possible by Magic Spoon. You no longer have to trade taste for healthiness or vice versa with Magic Spoon cereal. It tastes great and is incredibly healthy for you. Get $5 off your first order of this perfect blend of health and taste when you go over to magicspoon.com/chat. That link will be in the comments section and in the description. Let's go through some of the top players I think could be traded. First up is Stephon Gilmore, who is the big name. We had to include him on here. This should come as no surprise. However, I'm not sure that he's going to be dealt. And there's some extenuating circumstances here as to why. For starters, Gilmore, which I think gets forgotten by a lot of even big-time media, he's on the PUP list for a few more weeks. That's not exactly a good thing for a player with the trade deadline always coming up faster than you would think. His trade value, giant question mark right now. He's relatively affordable, owed under $8 million for this upcoming year, but he also wants a new deal. So are you paying him? Are you making him a rental? Are the Patriots contenders or are they sellers? That will impact if they want to move him. Oh, by the way, Stephon Gilmore is coming off a down year. And that should be a bit of a red flag if you are the New England or any NFL team. Complete percentage, wrong direction. Yards per target, wrong direction. Touchdowns, there was literally nowhere to go but the wrong direction, so whatever, it's fine there. Pass breakups, interceptions, plummeted. So that those are red flags, plus the injury for Gilmore. I know he's a big-time name. There is still a chance he ends up getting moved, but don't think we could guarantee the trade. Maybe the same way we could have if he were still healthy. We'll see about Gilmore as the trade deadline approaches. One guy we know wants out is Marlon Mack, the running back for the Colts. He and the Colts have agreed to try to find a trade. Now, Mack agreed to a one-year, $2 million deal after he tore his Achilles in the 2020 season. Several teams, by the way, are in need of running back help. Mack has not played much this year, but you think about the Ravens, the 49ers, shoot, even the Dolphins still, kind of going back home to an extent for Mack, who hails from South Florida. That's where he went to college, USF. The Niners, even the Ravens, I think would be fantastic fits for Marlon Mack. Here's the issue. They've brought in other guys. The Niners are going to get some guys back healthy in the near future. So I'm not sure how much interest they would really have in Mack. In general, running backs are not worth very much. A trade might be a later-ish day 3 pick swap if he does get moved. Now, I got more names to get to, but I do want to hear from you guys, of course, since it is Chat Sports. So if you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down to the pinned comment and let me know a player who you think gets traded before the NFL trade deadline. Let's talk 2 Giants players now. First up, Jabrill Peppers, mentioned to me by our Giants host here, Marshall Green. Peppers in the last year of his deal, and he still plays a decent amount, but he's not a starter anymore. That's Xavier McKinney. That's Logan Ryan. Peppers is safety 3 in a defense that does utilize plenty of 3 safety looks. Now, would the Giants sell before the trade deadline? I think maybe a player like Peppers could make some sense, but here's the problem. I think Joe Judge, to a lesser extent, but very much Dave Gettleman, they got to win to keep their jobs. That means they might not want to trade away still solid contributors like a Jabrill Peppers. Evan Engram, however, well, he might be a little bit more available. He is not good. I don't really know how else to say it. Made his debut after missing some time for the Giants in Week 3. He was a Pro Bowler for Lord knows why last year. Had a brutal fumble quickly in Week 3. Giants fans looking like Eagles fans out there booing him and then cheering him when he got removed from the field. And he's expensive, a $6 million base salary now. A new team wouldn't owe all of that. That's just the figure for this year. You divide it by 17, multiply based on when he gets traded. It's too much math for me, so I just went with the base salary. A little bit less than that in the end. The drops were bad last year, and as athletically gifted as Evan Engram is, I don't know if it's ever gonna click for him. And because of that, I think New York would try to trade him. You can roll with Kyle Rudolph for a bit, go more at multiple receiver sets since you're not using Kadarius Toney for some strange reason. It's weird for Evan Engram. I think they'll shop him. I don't know if teams really want him, though, right now. What I think you should want is some Magic Spoon cereal. This stuff is high in protein. 13 or 14, if you're having the peanut butter style, grams of protein in each serving. 4 grams of net carbs, and 0 sugar. And despite having that 0 sugar, it tastes absolutely incredible. $5 off your first order of Magic Spoon cereal when you go to magicspoon.com/chat. That link, by the way, will be in both the comment section and it'll be in the description as well to help you guys save some money and get this delicious cereal. magicspoon.com/chat. We're not done with tight ends yet. O.J. Howard, a guy that I really liked coming out of Alabama, is now tight end 3 for the Bucs. It's Rob Gronkowski, it's Cameron Brate, then it's really O.J. Howard, a former first-rounder. For whatever reason, Bruce Arians has never loved the guy. He's never utilized him the way I think he can be utilized. Maybe it's this year, but I think next year for sure. Howard will go somewhere else. And there's a lot of buy low upside here. Now, the Bucs are contenders, so I don't think they want to trade away, I think, a potentially good football player in O.J. Howard. Maybe a player-for-player trade, as rare as those are, could end up going down with O.J. It would be a buy low opportunity. He's only got 2 catches this year for 32 yards, but I've seen flashes. I would be more intrigued by going out and trying to acquire O.J. Howard in the last year of his deal than I would be for Evan Engram. So pick a tight end for me. Type O.J. for O.J. Howard, or type in EE for Evan Engram. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. All right, to receivers we go now. How about N'Keal Harry? He, of course, very publicly requested a trade in the offseason. Harry was placed on IR. He is back at practice now. He is eligible to come off of that injured reserve. I think the Patriots would love to find a partner for him. I don't know how great the situation is between those two guys. He's owed about $3 million over the next 2 years. If you believe in the upside, if you're a team in desperate need of receiver help, Detroit, New Orleans, maybe you give him a call. The separation issues are real. I don't think there's a lot of desire to add N'Keal Harry. Frankly, I think there are some better receivers who could be available, like, say, Brandin Cooks. He continues to produce in Houston regardless of who his quarterback is, Tyrod Taylor or Davis Mills. He's already been dealt 3 times in his NFL career, which is kind of crazy to have a guy under the age of 30 dealt that much or that often. He's pretty affordable, by the way. He's been highly productive. But for Houston, at his age, right side of 30, he still might actually fit their timeline in terms of being more than just a rebuilding team. And he's under contract for next year as well. They don't have to rush into a trade. In the end, I don't think Cooks gets dealt. I don't know if Houston wants to deal him. I think there are some benefits, namely seeing what Davis Mills can do by keeping him on your roster versus having Chris Conley or Danny Amendola be your wide receiver 1 with a first-year quarterback. Next up is Denzel Mims. Now, there have been reports from NFL Network that teams have called about a trade for Mims. Now, he's not been playing for the Jets. So far, the team has rebuffed all the trade offers coming their way. I wonder if there's some disagreement between the coaching staff and front office as to whether or not they want him on the team versus if they want to keep him or not. That makes it a very weird situation potentially. 1 catch on 3 snaps this year. Went for 40 yards to the surprise of nobody. I like Denzel Mims. If I needed a receiver, I would call. But I question if the Jets would actually do that. Now, if you guys want NFL and NBA and even college football videos all year long, hit that big red button and subscribe. We've got videos coming out multiple times a day here on Chat Sports. So don't miss out. Subscribe today for free by the way. Time for some defensive players here. How about Damon Arnette, mentioned to me by Mitchell Renz, our Raiders Report host here. Former first-rounder, is a backup now. I think the Raiders could, if they could get something of value back, that they are not in sell mode, but if they get something back for Arnette or Cleveland Ferrell, they might consider that. Arnette's cheap, 3 years left on his deal, just over $5.5 million. The Raiders' first-round draft pick success has been pretty poor. Arnette has fallen out of favor quickly. Trevon Mullen, Nate Hobbs in the slot, and free agent signings played great, by the way. Casey Hayward are all above Arnette right now. So cornerback depth is tough to find. If the Raiders find a good offer for a decent draft pick or even a player, I think they could start to explore a potential trade there for Arnette. Let's go now to Cameron Danztler, a head-scratching situation. Showed a lot of promise last year as a younger rookie corner. Now can't get on the field over a terrible Bashaud Breeland. Breeland has been maybe the worst corner in all of the NFL this year. He's got 3 years left on his deal because he's in his second season at about $3 million total. If you're a team like Seattle, maybe, I would call about Cam Danztler. We know the Niners did. The Vikings still said no. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota with Cameron Danztler. I think there's more than just on-field play because you can't keep watching Bashaud Breeland and go, yeah, that's the guy we should have out there. You got to make it. They benched him for Chris Boyd. Why not for Cam Danztler? That's weird to me. So pick a corner. Who would you rather have on your roster? I'd actually say no wrong answers here. Type DA for Damon Arnette or type in CD for Cam Danztler. I wanted to mention one offensive lineman. So tough to find these guys. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, LDT. Former starter for KC. But he opted out last year to go be a doctor and help fight COVID, and is now a backup for KC. The Chiefs are not going to give him away, even at a $2.75 million base salary this year, but it's tough to find even passable backup offensive line play. So if the Chiefs feel good about some of their other options on the roster, they could make a deal for Duvernay-Tardif. Maybe they could get an edge rusher back. That is certainly an area of concern right now for the Chiefs, with Frank Clark being, I'll just call it a weird situation for Frank Clark. So I think a player-for-player trade makes more sense for a contender like LDT, but keep an eye out for him in the end. Now, also, I want you guys to name me a player who you think needs to be traded away the most. What guy is it? Get your votes in for me in the comment section. What player is in the biggest need as we sit right now before the trade deadline for a change of scenery?